Waiting for the next portion of your favorite anime can be an annoying process. Anime production switch from week-by-week releases to years of waiting for TV series you are completely hooked onto. Correspondingly, animation levels skyrocketed, with enormous budget figures and worldwide acceptance of the genre. With the Western movie industry facing a stagnation, audiences are seeking for more fresh content, and Japanese animation became a go-to for starved viewers. As for long-term consumers, anime was always a thing that felt completely different from basic movies. Their stories and deliveries were never plain and fearful of failure. Expectedly, not every single TV series gets worldwide fame, but many of them have found a proper audience that enjoyed and supported them. However, the new launch standards of releases do not fit everyone. Unlike movies, most anime TV series have an open script called manga, which you can read and completely fulfill your needs to finish the untold story. As you can imagine, this kind of temptation is often beyond people's abilities to resist. I was patiently waiting for Attack on Titan, Demon Slayer, and God Give Me Strength, still waiting for Jujutsu Kaisen July's release. Each one of these feels like a birthday present, but one of them broke me completely. Chainsaw Man. Its first season was like a short demo of what's about to come later. We basically got nothing but questions. Chainsaw Man is all about insane bloody fights, black humor and nuttiness. Anime received both praise and criticism for those traits, as well as being not over the top for the amount of advertisement and publicity it had. However, I see it as a perfect off-time show. And when's the next season, you may ask? My best guess is that we won't see it earlier than spring of 2024. So yes, right after the 12th episode I decided not to wait for the later release of the next dozen or so series and just to deal with Chainsaw Man once and for all. But was it even worth it? After finishing reading the manga, I was even slightly disappointed, as such an action-heavy story should be watched on the screens. The first season of anime ended at the point after which all the main fights take place, and we get the most power grow of the characters. Many parts of the manga were hard to grasp without a deep look into them over and over again, especially during fight scenes. There are simply too many things which are hard to fully understand in your first reading. Also, as scale gets bigger, you start to miss out on many details we get while watching the anime. You get to know each character better, how they feel. Voice lines and their movements allow you to form a better picture of them in your head. Right now I want to watch season 2 more just to see how they will animate this. The whole first arc felt like it was created for animation rather than a plain story. A good example of this is a Himeno death scene. After seeing it firstly in anime, I can say for sure I've never had such a shocked feeling while reading the manga ever again. Music, postures, it honestly feels like a pure splash of emotions, which cannot leave you without any feelings while you are watching it. And my take is that this is the case with all the big shonens right now. Manga simply does not feel like you're getting the full experience anymore when it comes to fight scenes and character interactions you get from anime. I cannot imagine being satisfied with reading Demon Slayer right now. With anime taking longer time to produce, it became more like a AAA movie industry, where production companies like MAPPA need an enormous amount of man-hours to draw all of the scenes and an immense amount of budget to cover it up. The cost of failure though rises correspondingly. It can make studios take less risky projects in terms of animation and stories, and lead to repetitive plots that will sooner or later bore the viewers. There is an interesting article I found on Reddit where Saturn Eclipse explains if Pachita even makes the amount of money it truly deserves. To sum it up, the main source of money made from releasing any anime series is through selling rights to streaming services to show the anime itself. However, their profit margins presumably aren't great. We cannot know for sure what they are selling them for, as this is confidential, but we know for sure that streaming services themselves need a lot of budget to cover the cost of operations. Meanwhile, Blu-ray disc sales are free money for a company, as their profit margins are extremely high. But they are not doing great, and this fact can make a budget hole in Chainsaw Man release. The article assumes that without these sales, Chainsaw Man can barely make profits. However, I highly doubt that this statement is any correct, as I would assume companies target to break even with only streaming services, leaving BD sales for pure profit. If you are interested in reading it yourself, I left the link to it in the description below. And now we get into the benefits. This switch for a higher quality boosted anime's popularity to absolutely new heights. Demon Slayer's movie has beaten the highest gross record in cinema in Japan, which stayed there for almost 2 decades. As this many people are watching, we will get more top-tier quality anime than ever before. Even simple stories can still be boosted to something that watches smoothly with the power of animation and voice acting. I feel like MAPPA can animate anything and people would still be entertained. It is no longer an animation of a manga just to get story to more audiences. It is a completely new take on producing the anime. With enough budget, studios can draw you anything you want and it will look amazing. That said, did I get any joy out of reading the manga? 100%. especially the second arc. With the story taking a slower pace, reading it feels like a refreshing breeze. It has a few decent fights, however nothing spectacular. Manga has charming and unique storytelling capabilities. Every time you open up a new page, you're drawn into a world you can expand on using only the power of your imagination. Another big thing with manga is that you can continue exploring the author's works. Unlike anime, it feels like an endless journey. The next thing I'm reading is Fujimoto's Fire Punch for sure. I'm not expecting it to be the greatest, however it's interesting to see its influence on the CSM saga. So what is the conclusion of all this talking? Manga is still a valuable part of the industry, but it has become way more niche in recent times. Whenever big studios announce that they are working on a project, it is a good sign to toughen up and get hold of your patience, as it will probably end up being a hit. It is better to focus on non-screenable stories, so you may find some hidden gems. The industry built itself the way that studios want you to watch what they produce, rather than spoiling everything by reading the plots before the TV release, as it will potentially leave them with less viewers and profit. Thank you for watching.